Here are science-based, actionable insights to set and achieve goals from Huberman Lab podcast. Starting with the biggest mistakes people make in setting goals. 1. Having too many goals. Limit the number of major goals to 1 or 2 annually to avoid feeling overwhelmed. 2. Setting vague goals. Focus on specific detailed goals rather than vague ones. For example, instead of I want to improve my health, set a goal to lose 10 pounds in 3 months by weight training 3 times a week and following this specific nutrition plan. The next mistake is setting a goal that is either too easy or overwhelmingly difficult. A study shows that easy goals don't get us into action. They don't cause the recruitment of the neural and vascular systems for us to get moving. On the other hand, unrealistic goals are demotivating. So, set a goal that is possible and challenging. Mistake number 4 is that action details are unclear. Have a concrete plan with clear steps that you can follow and track. It would be great if your plan follows the 85% rule. The 85% rule says optimal learning occurs when tasks are set to a difficulty level where about 15% of attempts results in error and fail. The 85% rule means we need to make mistakes. Learning from mistakes improves neuroplasticity, which is the basis of our learning. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change in response to experience. Optimal learning happens when we allow ourselves to make mistakes 15% of the time. For example, each time you're practicing piano, aim for a difficulty level where you make occasional mistakes. Mistake number 5 is only visualizing positive outcomes. We are told, don't imagine failure, pushing failure out of your mind and only focus on success. You should be very clear about how failure will feel like and look like, and how can you avoid it. This means thinking about how bad it's going to be if you fail. Think of the negative outcomes or the disappointment you're going to have in yourself. This engages the fight and flight response, and we are ready to fight back and run away from the fear. The brain and body are much better adapted at moving away from the fearful situations than running towards what we want. So once in a while, imagine a big win, but if you want to be really twice as effective, most of the time, you should be focusing on how to avoid failure. A kind reminder here, if you're enjoying this, please subscribe. Dopamine is key to our motivation. On a low dopamine, you won't feel motivated to get things done, and you would have difficulty initiating tasks. I highly recommend watching the summary video I've made on dopamine. Otherwise, if you just try to increase your dopamine constantly, it's not gonna work. You need to learn how to manage that. One way to increase dopamine is actually by celebrating your progress. So we need to set milestones where we can get to review our work and reward ourselves. It is simple. Set a time every week or even every day to review your work and your progress, and if you have made progress, then reward yourself. It can be as simple as checking off a box and saying, I'm on track, well done. What you really need is your own positive feedback, your own understanding and acknowledgement that you're reaching the milestones that you have set out for yourself. This creates a positive cycle that as you do more and you celebrate yourself, you feel more motivated to do more. Also, dopamine is released more in response to unexpected positive events, like a spontaneous reward. So if in a review you felt like your work was really great, give yourself an unexpected reward. Anticipated rewards release dopamine too, but to a lesser extent. Be careful with the anticipated rewards, because if they are not given, we get disappointed and dopamine levels drop. So if you promise yourself you will get a reward for a certain progress, and you did that progress, then keep your promise and reward yourself. Supplements like L-tyrosine and caffeine can boost dopamine, but should not replace what we discussed so far, because those tools lead to neuroplasticity and improve focus and motivation over time. Next up, I want to tell you about 2 techniques that can train our brain to achieve short-term and long-term goals. The first technique is visual focus. Looking at a fixed point for 30 to 60 seconds can increase cognitive attention and readiness for action. Before starting to work on a project or a study, choose a point on a wall or on a small item on a desk and concentrate on that for 30 to 60 seconds. That blocks out other distractions. And regular use of this technique increases overall focus and productivity. The next technique is called space-time bridging. Much of our attention goes to the objects within our reach and the short-term stuff. The space-time bridging technique is very useful to train our brain to understand the distant future and maintain our motivation for long-term goals. In this technique, by shifting our visual focus between immediate surroundings and distant objects, we train our mind to see how today's efforts contribute to future success. This is how to do this technique. 1. Start by sitting or standing comfortably in a quiet space. Close your eyes to eliminate external visual distractions, having 100% attention internally. Pay attention to your breathing for 3 deep, slow breaths. 2. Open your eyes and bring your gaze to your hand or another object within the arm's reach. This object serves as a bridge between your internal state and the external world. While looking at your hand, maintain some awareness of your breath. In this step, we have a mixed focus of 90% internal and 10% external. 3. Shift your gaze to an object that is a bit farther away, like a picture on a wall, about 2 to 5 meters or 3 to 5 feet away. This step involves moving your attention farther into the external world while still keeping a slight internal focus too. Here, our attention is 90% external and only 10% internal. 4. Extend your focus to a distant point. Look at the horizon, a faraway landmark, or a distant tree, as far as your vision allows. At this stage, your attention should be 100% external. This enhances the brain's ability to see long-term goals and aspirations. This focus on distant objects encourages the mind to think beyond immediate concerns and think of future outcomes. 5. After focusing on a distant object, then broaden your horizon, taking as much as you can from your surroundings. Use your peripheral vision to encompass everything in your view, both near and far. This step helps brain to understand how your short-term actions lead to the success of your long-term goal. 6. Bring your focus back to your internal state by closing your eyes and take 3 more deep breaths. This is reinforcing the connection between immediate actions and long-term goals. Repeat these steps 3 times. It should take about 2 to 3 minutes. Do this whenever you feel overwhelmed with your planning or your long-term goals. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next one.